welcome to another episode of There's God for That. I am your host, comedian Stacey Anderson, and this is my co-host.
Queen B. Hey guys, welcome to the next episode. We thank you for tuning in with us today. And so before we jump into everything, we just wanted to kick it off with our mantra, as you know, as we do in every podcast. So if you guys want to adopt it, you want to say it along, y'all more than welcome to. So if you knew better, you'll do better. It can always be worse. Don't let the devil steal your joy. Live your super best life and all that you do. Choose to walk in righteousness all day, every day. Put on the full armor of the Most High. Stay out of God's way. May God will be done in everyone's life. And we plead the blood of Jesus in everything that we do. Hallelujah. Amen.
Yeah.
So, baby.
Yeah, that was great, girl. You said it just right, because I was saying, we always be changing it up, and I mean you can, but like that was perfect. Perfect.
Right,
So,
right. But
yeah.
that's a good start. So yeah, like we said, if y'all want to, adopt it, it's a good thing. It's a blessing. We keep adding, but it's a blessing. It's a girl. That's why sometimes we be like, what comes next? But you listen, you just freestyle and you just keep going. That's it. That's what life is about. You edit something, you freestyle, you keep. The whole point is don't give up and you just keep going. So, but anyway, how was your day so far today, girl?
Oh my goodness. Today, my day is going well. It's warm. It is 81 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, the 81 degrees dance. It is warm, sunshine and bright, so I'm very happy about that.
Right.
I gotta do your nephew's hair. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
We just came from a cruise and I did the smallest braids you could think of, just so that he could get in the pool and all that and have a great time. It's cute and dandy when it's done, but when it's time to take it down, baby. Oh my God.
Right.
It's a chore.
I will pray for you, my sister.
Please, wait, not only do I have to pray for me, but not only do I have to take it down, it's time for me to wash it too. Yay. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Oh wow. So are you gonna do all that today, or are you gonna do half today and half tomorrow?
Yep, half today, half tomorrow. So I've taken down most of the braids, and then tomorrow I'll wash it. I just want to let it air out a little bit, and then I'll wash it and braid it up for the week. Right. Yeah, so that's how my day going. Right. And did you say your day was going fine? You said your day was going fine.
Well, no, I didn't say anything because I had asked you first.
Oh, that's it.
but my day is going okay. It's actually 80 what it says in my car, 86 degrees too. It's hot. It's hot here in Alabama. But I ain't gonna complain because 1 minute is freezing, next minute is hot. So like, okay, whatever. I just go with the flow and that's it. But other than that, my day is going pretty good. I'm just so excited for this podcast and the topics that we will be talking about. The topic that I picked today, and I'm excited to hear what you picked today as well. So we thank y'all for tuning in once again, and we just want to get right into it. So, do you want to start this week, or you want me to start?
I don't mind kicking it off. I can kick it off. Okay. I'll kick it off. My topic for today is staying in your own lane. Okay. AKA mind your business a little bit. Mind your business. That's what it is. that's what it boils down to. And I must admit, I have a hard time as a person who likes to talk. Okay. I have a hard time staying in my own lane because I like to talk. And I'm a person who listens to others, and I'm almost like an ear for others. So they talk to me just expressing, and for some reason I feel like I need to help solve sometimes. And it's like, I don't. I need to stay in my own lane, because sometimes when you take on other people's issues, it overwhelms you. You react instead of respond, and reaction is an emotional thing. Like, you just like, what? He did what to you? Let's go over there and slash his tires, girl. You too good for that. As opposed to responding.
The ride or die friend.
The ride or die friend. Don't tell me. Let's go. Where the shank? And no, you can't react because that's emotional, and you got to respond and be more intelligent with it, And sometimes no response is a good response, and just stay in your own lane, and don't always be a yes person too. That's also jumping out of your lane. Like, I know that's another thing for me. I have a hard time. I respond. I react. I ain't gonna say respond. I react really fast. Somebody tells me something and I'm like, oh, I'm on it. Like, and sometimes you put yourself in situations you don't want to be in. You know what I mean? Somebody, next thing you know, you giving people rides everywhere. Next thing you know, you giving people rides every week somewhere. Next thing you know, you giving people rides everywhere and taking them to the grocery store and babysitting their kids and borrowing them your clothes and letting them use your car. And it's like, yo, that is not my lane. That's your lane. That's your lane. I need to mind my business. And also, still staying in your own lane makes you a better friend, because you're not trying to solve your friend's issues. You're not trying to live your friend's life. You got to let God handle that for them and teach them that they're capable of handling their problems. God will give them the answer. If you always come to their aid, it's almost like being a crutch. If someone always got a crutch to use, that leg will never get strong. You'll never know what you're capable of coming. So, like, learn to stay in your own lane. Learn to mind your own business. I really don't like how Black women right now are looked at as like a bulldog. It's like we're looked at as like the argumentative person to go in front of everybody's situation. Like, I'm about to tell her because she gonna cuss them out and get us in there. And no, stop using us like that. We need to stop being you, because it's not good for our heart. It's not good for our blood pressure. It's not good for our mind. Like, stay in your own lane, mind your own business. It's okay to not respond to everything. It's okay to not react. That's the best thing. Don't react and just chill. Sometimes just listen. And I'm learning that. I am learning that. You ever have a problem with jumping out your lane and coming? Look, Captain Queen Bee to the rescue. You ever had those issues for yourself?
Well, I mean, I guess I have. Like, I can't think of any like examples or times that it has happened, but I'm pretty sure I have. And I guess, yeah, like, I would have to tell myself, girl, stay in your lane, because whatever they going through, because not bad, yes, I have, and I'm thinking of one right now. You sometimes, you have those people in your lives and they go through things, and and because you experience the same thing that they experience, it's just different people, different times and settings, whatever, right? But like, I can tell you, like, this is what it is because I've been through it, you know what I mean? And sometimes people just have to go through the fire, and they got to learn their lesson. So yeah, I've been that friend too, and I'm just like, you know what, girl, you went through it, you've been through it, you learn from it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, God might have, he may have put you in this person's life because you can, who better to tell them, like, hey, this is what's going to happen. You need to leave that so and so, or you need to stop so and so, because I've been there and I've done that. But some people is not ready. And so, I had to, like, tell myself, stay in your lane, push back a little bit, you know what I mean? And you already know what I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna pray for you, because that is not my lane anymore. Like you said, I like that. That is not my lane anymore. That's your lane, basically, because this is your time to learn whatever lesson that God is trying to teach you. You know what I'm saying? We always feel like when bad things happen in life, it's the devil. No, sometimes God allows things to happen because it's a lesson that you need to learn. And so when you need to learn that lesson, what do we say in our mantra? Stay out of God's way. Let her stay in that lane. You remove yourself out of the lane with her, because when you're driving, only one person can be, you know what I'm saying, right here in that lane, and you got a person behind you. We ain't together in that one lane. So you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane, and I'm gonna not mind my business, because of course I care about you, and if you want to vent and talk to me, I'm gonna be here to listen. But I'm not going to put myself in that lane with you, because I already learned my lesson. I already went through the lesson. So why am I going to continue to, to put myself in that situation with you? So yeah, it came to me, because at first I was like, Have I ever? But yeah, I have, and then you have it on the flip side, like you said, mind your business. And it's not about being rude or being mean, to a person, but sometimes, yes, you putting yourself in somebody else's business can freaking hurt you more than to hurt the next person. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to mind your business, and sometimes you will not, because you think you're helping, right? But that person don't want your help. They ain't looking for your help, and you're coming from a good place. You're coming from a good place, and you want to help people because that's your heart. But some people is like, who the hell is you? You know what I'm saying? Who the hell is you? Why are you telling me this? And those are people that are not ready. So what do? You stay in your lane. Okay.
Stay in your lane and mind your business.
Yes. Hallelujah to that, okay?
Yes. And then also, I just want to add to this because we're talking about friends and people that might come to us or we hear them, expressing and venting. But what about at work? Hello. Have you ever been pushed by somebody else at the job to kind of get you out of your lane to get into their lane so that they could get out of their lane and sit down? Like sometimes at work, right? You know what I'm saying? You be at work.
Hilarious. I like that.
You like I'll put that because you know what I'm talking about. Like you did your work, you know how to do your work, you do it pristine, perfectly, and then somebody else want to come and give you something that has nothing to do with you. Like you could do it, but it's for you to do, not for me to do. But they still try to get you involved, and sometimes you just gotta, I know you told me like ignore that. Sometimes you gotta ignore that, right? Like. And you told me about that. Now, how do you go about ignoring? Because some people don't know how to ignore and they be stressed out at work because they got so much to do at work. And you brought this up to me in the past. And I was like, that's amazing. I don't really know. Where I work, I do one-to-ones. I only work one-on-one. Right. But when you got staff and co-workers all around you trying to slide their job, their responsibilities off on you, how do you handle that?
Okay, well, we just had a recent conversation about this, and I did exactly what you just said to a coworker because even though her title is over me, she's still a coworker, So I'm just gonna let you guys know, I work in the health field. We both do, and I'm a CNA. I work at a nursing home, and so if you are familiar with working as a CNA in a nursing home, each unit has a nurse. And, the nurse is the person that oversees, the unit, whatever, right? But in my line of work, and when in the class, when you go and take your CNA class, it says everybody is in how do you say it? Oh my God. Everybody is man, I lost my
everybody has
not encouraged. Everybody is not in control, but everybody basically all the residents it's all our residents. It ain't your resident, it ain't my residents. We all are here to care for these people, including the nurses, right? So you have some nurses that feel because they are the nurse that they are they're your dictation, or not even your dictation. I'm using the wrong word. They feel like, they can just, direct you and just tell you to do this, to do that. And it's like, no, that's not how it goes, because we all are adults. Okay. And it's all about how you you practice, or you leadership, or how do you say oh, girl, my words is all over the place today. But it's how you deliver. You know what I'm saying? What you're trying to get across. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you call yourself, the leader of this pack, it's a way how you present yourself. You don't present yourself as of like you think you're God, because you're not God. And I love when people do that, because guess what? Guess what I do? Walk away and ignore the hell out of you. And you'll be so mad. And it's not me trying. I'm not trying to piss you off, but I'm not doing it. So the example that I'm going to give you, and it actually happened last week when I told you. And at the end of the day, I just worked a whole 16-hour shift, and I'm not a lazy worker. And this particular nurse, everybody knows this at my job, you know what I mean? And I'm not bigging up myself. That's just who I am. I go to work and I work, you know what I mean? But for you to come in the early of the shift and you tell me, first of all, you don't even acknowledge me by my name. You just say you
Nope.
go do such and such. Yeah. She talking to me? Oh. Okay. Baby, I didn't even look at her. I didn't look at her direction. I didn't even acknowledge her. I didn't even respond not one word to her. I just told the girl that I was working with, I said I'm about to go on break and I'll be right back. And I took my tail on break and I came back. She didn't say nothing more to me about do whatever, because at the end of the day, I may look like a young girl or a little girl to you, and you are older than me. And I was raised to have respect for my elders, but I am a grown woman just like you. And I don't care if you're a nurse and you think you up here and I'm down here. No, it doesn't go that way. We're equal in God's eyes. And I'm not going to allow you, whatever you're going through, you're going to make, no. So yeah, that's how I do it. I don't say nothing at all. And it's so easy. It's so easy. When you practice it, I'm telling you, friend, you better practice it. Because it's going to be a lot of people that's going to come and try you. And you don't want to. It's all about controlling your peace. It's all about keeping your peace. And the enemy will use anybody to come and take you out of your lane. No, you ain't going to take me out of my lane, baby.
Look, say it again. We got to clap for that. That's right. Don't let the spirit take you out of your lane, because they're going to test you and try you. And what you say, practice it, because it's going to get easier with each time. I like that. That's what's up, because we be needing that. Because people be at work, they hate going to work. And that's because you out of your lane. You jump into everybody else's lane just because they ask you to, or tell you to, and you don't have to. You got to practice that, because stay in your own lane. Stay in your own. Okay, that was good. Okay. All right. So what's your topic? Practice.
Oh, anyway, hold on. I just want to say this: practice staying in your lane and practice staying out of other folks' lanes. That's it.
Mind your business.
Right. Mind your business. Drink some water. Oh Lord. But okay, so my topic for today is more personal for me. And I don't know exactly who is watching us, but I pray that what we're about to discuss will truly help someone and bless someone. And I know there's going to be some people that's probably going to judge, and some people probably going to say, but why? And listen, why X, why? God is a God of doing things that does not make sense to humankind. And it don't have to make sense to you, because guess what? Everything that he do, it comes to good, right? So it don't matter, it just don't matter. So I'm just throwing it out there, and at the end of the day, I'm open for any, comments, opinions, or anything like that, or questions, you know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure people is going to have questions, and like I said, I'm an open book, and I'm very transparent, and I am very sure in my walk with God. And I believe what we're about to discuss is my journey right now as we speak. And this is the journey that God put me on. And I'm going to stay on it because there's a reason for it. So my topic is, I'm going to say prison love. Okay. Right? I know you guys are going to say, well, what is prison love? Prison love is basically, my situation. I fell in love with someone that's incarcerated. And at first, when, it happened, of course, I'm just like, okay, so let me just rewind. You sometimes you do have to watch what you pray for, because God will answer your prayers, but he will answer your prayers in a way that you would never expect. And I did not expect this at all. So before I met my husband, I wasn't making the best decisions and, men. So I surrendered to God, and I just say, God, listen, clearly I'm not making the right decisions, when it comes to relationships and men. So I leave it in your hands, God. Whoever that you created for me, I ask and I pray to you to send me my husband. You know what I mean? Because like we said, we want to be wives out here. We don't want to be nobody sneaker link. We don't want to be nobody booty call. None of that. We want to be wives. Okay, that's going to be a whole nother topic. You know, and another whole new podcast. But you know, so that's what I pray for. You know what I mean? And nevertheless, like a year and a half later, my husband comes along. Never knew that he was going to be incarcerated. Don't know nothing about nobody being in prison. Wondering how in the world you was able to even have a cell phone in prison. You know what I mean? What what did I miss? You know what I mean? So, but you know what kept me to continue to talk to my husband because of, you know, of his situation and how he wound up being incarcerated. It's not because he was a bad person. It's not because he was out here just living reckless.
Wait. Let me back it up though, because you said, how did he get his cell phone? How did y'all communicate? Like, how did he get your number? Like, is that how, like, he just called, or how did it happen?
Cell phone. What do you mean? How? What happened?
How did he get your number? Like, how did that work?
Wait, ask me again. It was kind of breaking up a little bit.
How did he get your number? Was it online? Was it a phone number?
I was going to get to that, but how he got my number is basically I was on like a dating site, I guess, but it really wasn't like a dating site. Right. It was really, we just gonna chop it up. It was a dating site, you know, and I wasn't on there like looking for somebody seriously, because we already know most of these men that be on these dating sites, they looking for one thing only. You know what I mean? So at the time, I wasn't looking for anything. It was just a night of me just talking to random people because, you know, whatever, that's what I was doing. And he so happens to send me a message. And this is so funny. And I tell people this, when I tell people the story, how we met and how we wound up actually talking, and me actually responding back to him, they was just like, wow, because he sent me a message and, you know, I seen his profile picture, and his profile picture looked like he had, you know, boo-boo, because I ain't gonna curse. He had boo-boo on his teeth. And I'm like, okay, well, right. So who you think gonna respond to you, brother? Because it ain't me. I'm not that desperate. Matter of fact, I ain't desperate at all. Okay, I would be by myself for the rest of my life if I got to. This is my option. So no. So I never responded back to him. I never responded back to him, and he reached out to me like at least 2 weeks back to back. So I'm like, why is this guy keep hitting? Like, I'm not responding to him. So he sent me, and this is before we actually had our first conversation. So I didn't know that he was incarcerated. So anyway, so he finally sent me, now on this particular dating site, you can send like video chats or whatever. Well, not video chats, but video text. So he sent me a video. And, you know, so he sent me a video of him showing off his body, and now he's showing me his true self. You know what I mean? And he smiled, and I was like, oh, that was not no boo on his teeth. What the hell? So I'm like, and I was like, okay, well, he looking good. So I was like, okay, he look kind of good here now. Okay, so now, yes, and now that's what made me respond to him, because, like, why would you think that, you know? So finally, when we was able to talk, I asked him that question. I said, why, you know, I said, what was that on your teeth? And he was like, it was chocolate that I smeared on my teeth. And I said, well, why did you do that? You know, like, who do you expect to respond back to you? And his reason was, it was good, but it was just like, you almost missed out on something real good. You know what I mean? So he basically said the reason why he did that, because he wanted to find somebody to love him for him and not for his looks. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I really do get that. I said, but, you know, clearly it was meant for us to talk. I said, because you was not letting up. You was not giving up at all. You know what I'm saying? And you knew what was going to get my attention.
Okay.
And so you know what I mean? For me to respond back to you. And then you had to know, like, yeah, what person in their right mind is going to respond to somebody that look like they got boo-boo on their teeth? Nobody.
I was like, nobody. Boo-boo teeth. Right. That is crazy.
Right. So that's how he got my number, and that's how we, started talking and things like that or whatever. And going back to what I was saying is that what made me continue to want to talk to him, is because of his story. Because of his story and how he wound up being incarcerated. Like I said, it's not like he was out here being reckless. It's not like he was out here hurting people, robbing people, and things like that. No, he wound up in prison because of his heart. You know what I'm saying? The loyalty that he has for his friends, and it's like you gotta watch the company that you keep. Like I said, my husband's not perfect at all. None of us is. You know what I mean? But he wound up being incarcerated for him being loyal to a friend. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow, this man got a good heart. You know what I mean? Like for you to be, and I told him straight up, I said, I don't know nobody. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell his story, but I don't know nobody that would have did what you did. I'm telling you that right now. I said, but you know what? That was all God. And I said, God, He is going to award you. You know what I'm saying? And people are probably like, well, what you mean award? Because why, him being incarcerated? Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? He, not to say, well, I'm gonna say that he awarded him for him, not because of what he did for his friend, you know what I'm saying? But he's gonna award him because at the end of the day, he was willing to get his freedom taken away because you're trying to help out a friend. You know what I'm saying? Where most of us wouldn't even dare do anything, you know what I'm saying, to help out a friend, even if it's a small thing or a big thing. But he was willing to lose his freedom. And it's just like, and you didn't have no knowledge of what was going to happen on that day. You know what I'm saying? So, and at the end of the day, God's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you a second chance, because at the end of the day, it still was a lesson for him too, because of what happened. It's like, God can look at it like you condone it too. But because you had a good heart, you were trying to look out for your friend. I'm going to make you do this time because you should have did the right thing. Whereas, let that person, take the consequences of what they did, and you do the right thing and do what the Lord says or whatever the case may be. But you didn't do that. But at the same time, I know your heart. So, but I'm going to make you do this time, and I'm going to make you sit down, and you're going to, learn whatever lessons that you need to learn during the time of your incarceration. So that's how I looked at it. And, and it just, I don't know, something that God just put in my heart and my spirit that he was the one for me and I was the one for him. I'm not going to go all into details, but when you know, you know what I'm saying? And not everybody love story is the same. You know what I mean? So I feel this way. Since I've been on this journey, I have learned a lot about myself. Since I've been on this journey, God has shown me a lot. Since I've been on this journey, I have become a better person. So I feel like any relationships that you get in and it makes you a better person and it doesn't bring you toxic, it doesn't bring you crying, it doesn't bring you heartache, it doesn't bring you pain, it doesn't bring you struggle. Now don't get me wrong, we do have our struggles, but it's not a struggle where it's like, it's like typical life struggles that we have together as a married couple, you know what I'm saying? Because of things that happen in our families, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But it's not a struggle like we treat each other bad or we curse each other out or we, you know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. So I feel like anybody that God puts you with and it makes you want to be a better person, that is ordained by God. So I don't care, you know what I'm saying, if he's in prison or not in prison. I became a better person since I've been with my husband, and he also became a better man. You know what I'm saying? Since we've been together, like I said, neither one of us is perfect, but we are work in progress. You know what I'm saying? We pray together. He's the one that got me to start praying. You know what I'm saying? Out loud in front of people where I never thought I would have never got to that point. You know what I mean? So it's more than just phone sex. You know what I mean? It's spiritual between us. You know what I'm saying? It's more than just, jail talk, what other people say. It's more than just that, for us. Not to say that some relationships, some prison relationships, is not usury. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. But in certain situation when it's God ordained, it doesn't matter the situation. It can turn out to be, you know what I'm saying, a blessing, basically. So
Yeah.
I'm just so me telling my story in a nutshell. If any of you, ladies or men or whoever that's watching, it don't have to be my same situation. The whole point of me telling my story is that do not be ashamed of what God has, whatever situation that He may have put you in, that we know that the world is going to judge you. Because the world is going to judge you regardless. You know what I mean? But whatever God says, whatever God instructs you to do, I advise you to do it, no matter what
Mm-hmm.
the world tells you. Because what I have learned and what it is now, what is good in the world is actually bad. And what is bad, no, what is bad is good. And what is good is bad. You get what I'm saying? So think about
In the
that.
world.
At the end
In
of
the
the
world. Yeah.
day, right, right. So don't be ashamed. I was never ashamed of my husband at all. You can ask my friend here. I was never ashamed. And how I know that it was meant, because none of my family, none of my friends, you know what I'm saying? Nobody that came in contact with us has judged me. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna judge him. You know what I'm saying? It was me that could have
Mm-hmm.
been judged. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has never shown that. Everybody has supported us. And I'm like, this gotta be God. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because look at the situation. Not to say
Yeah.
that I know Stacey probably couldn't do it, but she probably could do it because if it was ordained, she could do it. You know what I'm
That
saying?
part.
If you love the
Mm-hmm.
person, you can do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we got to stop saying what we ain't going to do or what we can't do, because when God is in it and He wants, and His will is going to be done no matter what it is. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You just gonna have to pipe down and just do it. So
Yeah.
don't be ashamed of who you fall in love with, who God put you with. Don't be ashamed any of what God will is for your life. You know. Um. So yeah, that was my whole. I said all of that to say, yeah, don't be ashamed of God. So you know what I mean. Don't be ashamed of Him at all. So I mean, do you have any questions
Well,
for me,
yeah,
Stacey?
like I do. I mean, and I want you to share with our those who are our viewers. I heard you say my husband, so you are married. And how long have
Oh
y'all
yes.
been together? How long? Congratulations on that. Hold on, let me do it. Hey, hold on. Let me
And you are great.
because
So
we
I
wanna
love
be
it though.
wives out here. So we're wives
I
out
love
here.
it.
We
I
wanna be
love it.
wives. So
Right.
how long have y'all been together? How long you been on this journey?
Well, we met back in 2018, and we was friends, of course, and at the beginning we both test each other just to see how serious we was about, because I'm gonna be honest with you, at first I didn't know how far this was gonna go because of his situation, and I didn't know if I was gonna have the patience to wait. And I didn't know
Mhm.
if I was going to be strong enough, because he was actually real at the beginning. He was just like, listen, it's going to be times that we're not going to be able to talk. It's going to be times that we're not going to be able to see each other. There's going to be a lot of hardships on this journey. And he was honest about it. And he was just like, do you think you can handle this? And I'm just
Mm,
like, and at the time, because I was so into him, and then, I got this, baby.
mm,
When times got hard, when times was timing, it's just like, oh my God, what did I get myself into?
mm,
But because, again, when God ordains whatever it is, He's going to give you. He's going to give you the patience and the strength to get through it. But anyway, we met back in 2018, and 20 during COVID. 20 what COVID started 2020, I think. So like
yeah.
at the beginning of the COVID times, we all thought we was probably gonna die, and we wasn't
Mhm,
gonna see our loved ones again and stuff like that. And I think, not to say that my husband don't love me enough to want to marry me, but I think the fear of losing me, what I'm saying, or losing what we have, he was just like, one night we was on the phone and he was just like, I want to marry you. And I'm just like, what? I'm
mm,
like, no, you don't. I said, no, you don't want to marry me. Like, and we have been talking long enough for somebody to know whether they want to get married or not. So, So I want to say, so I told her, I was like, well, you got to ask me better than that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, I want to marry you. So he, my husband, he write poems. He's a very good writer. And so he got a card made for me. And in the card, he wrote a poem. And then at the end of the poem, it says, will you marry me? So that was in early 2020. So we got married that same year on my birthday, which is October. Yeah.
Okay.
So huh?
I said, okay. So it's been 6 years now. Yeah, 6
Right.
years in
Well,
October.
right. So yeah, so that's how long we've been married, and we've been together, you might as well say 2018. So we've been together about 7, 8 years now. We're married
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I do have a question, and since you're being so transparent, of course, because I didn't know the question that was the topic, but since you took us through the journey, my question is, does he have a release date?
Oh, yes, ma'am, he do. Yes, ma'am, he do.
Okay, how much?
Yes, we have a release date, and we are getting to the end of the time of this journey. We are next year. I won't say when or what date, but next year, God got us. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Well, yes, he do.
Hey.
Yes, no, that is fantastic. Because not for nothing, a lot. There's a statistic. There's a percentage of how many men and women are locked up, and it's really almost like half of the world's population, well, the United States population for sure, is incarcerated, like the men. And it's like that's why I think these dating apps and sites are so popular, and people just, they don't know what to do. We don't know what to do because we don't have everybody to pick from, to choose from.
Right.
Some of our husbands, some of our wives are incarcerated. So I think that was a great topic, and I love that how you put it. You know what I'm saying? God, just let God do what he do, and don't judge it. And yeah, that's it. Have a heart,
And
and
don't be ashamed.
don't be ashamed. Yeah, don't be ashamed. That's it. Because you never know. You never know how God gonna answer your prayers. That's it. His prayers are answered. So there's God for that.
Exactly. There's God for that. But yeah, so again, to our viewers, like, if you have any questions, on either of the topics that we discussed in this episode, just feel free to, ask. And we are pretty much open books. Like, we are as real as it can come. Like we said, we want to do God's work, and we want to help at least one person, and we want to just let y'all know that y'all not by yourself. Saying we deal with every real, true, whatever life every day. Life be life for everybody. And we just want to show God's love and understanding and mercy and grace, because we all have been through something. We all have a story to tell, and we don't want, so not that we don't want, but God don't want us to be ashamed of our story, because he wrote our story. You know what I mean? This is our story. And then we, is at the end, we have a testimony, and our testimony is supposed to save somebody else. You know what I mean? Bring souls to the Most High. And that is the point of this podcast. We laugh, we joke, we talk about, serious topics, we get deep, but in all, we just want y'all to know that God loves y'all, and don't be ashamed of your story. Don't be ashamed of who you are. And I ain't gonna say what I want to say next, but just forget the rest. You know what I mean? Because God is over everything, and there's God for that.
There's God for that. Take it to God in prayer. That's it. He got you. Jesus died for every sin that you've done or gonna do. So don't be too prideful. That's what made Satan fall. He was too prideful. Bring it to God. We don't know what we're doing here. We don't know what we're doing. We need the help. We need his help in everything we do. So yes, well, that's another awesome episode of There's God for That. So thank you for your topic, and my topic. We definitely did that. So I think we can end it. So bye, everybody.
Yes, all right, you guys have a blessed day.